Yo, what's good, my nephews and nieces? This is your favorite uncle, Uncle Jimmy, and today I have another special banger for you, all right? Today, as you can see, we have an article by Sports Gaming Online that just dropped, and I felt like this was something that needed to be spoke on, because anytime this is spoke on, I always try to bring this out to the forefront. And the title is NBA 2K potentially focusing too much on monetization. Now, obviously we know that that's, everybody's using some type of microtransactions, but this right here says focusing too much. Whereas, obviously you are focusing so much on trying to squeeze as much money out of people that you're not putting your time and efforts in other areas. So it says for over 20 years, NBA 2K has been the leader in basketball simulation games due to its realism, presentation, and depth. However, the discourse around the game has recently changed. Much of the discussion in the community has now moved beyond improving gameplay and innovation to focus just on monetization. So we're not trying to improve the gameplay. We're not trying to innovate. All we want to focus on is making money. That's what this article is saying. It says NBA 2K potentially focusing too much on monetization. It says, with the rise of microtransaction, which is virtual currency, and time-gated progression systems, players are questioning whether the NBA 2K financial systems are taking over the actual game of basketball. That is something that's very important here. Time-gated progression. So time-gated means like the season pass. You only have a certain amount of time to get that. Well, a lot of people just don't have the time to get that season pass. You got to work. You have other responsibilities, got to take the kids to practice. There's other things that's going on. Or if you're not a family person, you're a kid and you got football practice or basketball practice, or, you got your homework to do, or your mom and dad tells you, hey, you can't play the game Monday through Friday. So time-gated progression is basically saying like, yo, you only got this set amount of time to get this. So if you can't get it, guess what you need to do? Spend money, right? That's something that a lot of people haven't spoke on. We all know about the microtransaction, the virtual currency, but time-gated progression systems is something that is becoming more and more prevalent within 2K. Because when you just talk about the season passes, that alone is every single season. That's 9 of them, right? That's 9 different times that you're guaranteed you have to, do transactions, right? Every single time. Right. So that's something to take in consideration, which, I didn't really think about that until like, damn, you're right. Like that does put a lot of pressure on you when you are squeezed into a window to get this done. You get it done right now or you pay. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, they say the evolution of NBA 2K's monetization model. The concept of monetization has never been new to NBA 2K, but it has become an extremely important element throughout the last generation. Virtual currency, also referred to as VC, was initially a convenience feature that enabled players to accelerate progress. That was it. You wanted to accelerate your progress. That is all VC was in the beginning. We all know that, right? If you just wanted to, hurry up and get to 85 overall, when you made your first build, that type of deal. But it has, over the years, been ingrained in almost all the major modes of play. My career is now closely linked to VC. The cosmetic items, animations, and even the simplest upgrade of the player. Although it is technically still possible to receive VC during a game, the time spent, again, like we talked about, that time window on it has increased significantly. This design encourages players to spend real money, particularly those who must remain competitive online or test different strategies. Listen, NBA 2K is not dumb, man. Like the CEO and those guys and gals, they get paid millions upon millions upon millions of dollars themselves. They ride around in six-figure cars. They live in, multi-million-dollar houses, multiple houses. They fly private jets. They do all of this based upon incentivizing to make sure every single time a game's released, that everybody is spending every dollar. They don't even want a penny left in our pocket. They want to make sure everything is spent on this game. So they do it from a psychological standpoint, and that is what really pushes the brink of NBA 2K, and along with other franchises, not just 2K, to where again you have Congress and other individuals in power that are questioning these tactics. Okay, It says, my career and the cost of competitiveness. My career has received a fair share of criticism on monetization. The establishment of a new player begins with poor attributes, fewer animations, and less competitiveness in online games. Players have to either spend dozens of hours grinding or buy VC to achieve a level in which a build becomes viable. Now, let's get twisted. Unless you're playing against CPUs, this is not dozens of hours. I mean, you're talking about, when you say dozens, I'm thinking like people trying to act like, no, it's going to take to be a 60 overall just to get to an 85. How many hours do you think that's going to take, man? Like, that is a lot of time. You're talking about multiple weeks, right? Just to get competitive. And no one wants to sit back on multiple weeks, especially if you want to get in there and play online against other people. Furthermore, the design of the structure reflects a broader pattern in digital entertainment in which progression systems are designed to scale engagement. The same dynamics can be observed in other online ecosystems, in live service games or websites where users can compare features, such as what are the best Canadian casinos to spend their time or money before investing. In all these, friction is usually used to, Fiction is usually used to promote spending rather than to remove obstacles. All right. It says MyTeam and the card economy. Another large pillar of monetization is MyTeam. The gameplay focuses on gathering all the player cards, most of which can be gained in packs that have random results. Power creep has increased faster over the years, with pack releases becoming more frequent. Although MyTeam is still a popular game, the use of chance-based mechanics has been criticized. The players who compete with each other regularly experience pressure to purchase packs to keep abreast with the changing meta. Even professional players who are fond of grinding can be disadvantaged against other teams assembled with considerable expenditure. This has encouraged the discussion of pay to win in online competitive markets. And again, if you want to be competitive in MyTeam, you have to spend not hundreds of dollars. You're talking about thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars. When you're talking about that 1% higher upper tier, these guys and gals are spending tons of money. You have to understand, like, new releases there's 2 releases a week. I think there's one like midweek and then one on the weekend or something like that. It is absolutely ridiculous. And the chances of getting these packs, we've seen with Troydan, the amount of money he spent last year just to prove a point. It had to be embarrassing for 2K to see a guy. And again, Troydan is the highest earner we have in 2K community. So the man makes a lot of money. Okay, so and he was just proving a point to be able to spend over 5 figures. We're talking about 5 figures, tens of thousands of dollars to not even get a card. Right? Remember, he tried to get Michael Jordan, he tried to get Shaq, he tried to get all these 99s and he couldn't get them. And it just lets you know that you're continuously paying. It's money. It's not a way to get it by just playing naturally. You have to spend money to get it. Gameplay improvements. This is the other one. Versus revenue priorities. The sense that monetization is in the spotlight while gameplay refinement takes a backseat is a common complaint among longtime fans. All right. Although NBA 2K is constantly making improvements in visuals and animations, some of the problems associated with the game, such as no continuity in defense, continuity in defense, lag, and balance frequently remains the same. He didn't say, or she, I'm not sure who wrote this, but they ain't mentioned anything about the cheating, man. Them strike packs, them Zens, and all these new devices. They ain't mentioned that. That's really the big thing right now. Everybody's great. Everybody's a GOAT right now on 2K. Adding new VC sinks with no address to complaints about gameplay only strengthens the assumption that revenue generation is being prioritized. But this the funny thing is, you can prioritize revenue, okay? But where's all that money going? Is it just going in the CEO's pockets? Where's the money going to improve the game, to stop certain things? Like, if you have all this money just sitting in the bank, right, then you gotta find ways to be like, yo, we gotta allocate this money here to stop the cheaters. How about that? Let's focus on that. Like, if I was in the ballroom, I'd say, hey, listen, man, we're doing great. We're taking all this money. Let's figure out a way. Let's put all the resources we have right now. How can we stop these third-party devices? Right? Something like that. Again, I'm not trying to say it's that easy, but where's the transparency enough to be like, hey, we are going head over heels to make sure that when 2K27 comes out this time, we don't need a guarantee, but just put something out there. But maybe then a lose-lose situation when 2K has publicly came out and said stuff, people are like, yeah, right, all right, bro. Anyway, they're not gonna do that. Like, that's not happening. So, I mean, I don't know, it's a lose-lose situation, but regardless, this is the perception. The VC grind and player fatigue. Another way the VC economy has transformed how players interact with the game is every day. Things that previously seemed to be optional now seem like must to make effective progression. Daily spins, recurring quests, and online games are meant to maximize engagement, but may lead to burnout. That's something that I have. Like, I don't even play 2K that much. Like, I just get on, do a video, and get off, right? It is a lot of it's the cheaters, but also it is just like, dude, like, they want you to be on the game all the time, consistently, 24/7. And a lot of people, it's just not like that no more. There's too many other games out there to play and to prioritize. So when you just sit there and burn somebody out, you know, people are going to play the game when they on the release and then make it make the journey enjoyable for the whole 12 months. But when it seems like everything is just like forcing you to like, yo, I don't want to play, but I got to get on because I want to hit level 40 this season, stuff like that, it is going to be, and when people are cheating and, you know, and all these other things, you're not enjoying the journey because when you get on the game, people are cheating. But yet you want me to play like, I don't know, like how many hours it'll take for that season pass of 40. We're gonna pay like what, 10 hours or 12. I don't know how many hours it takes to hit level 40, but you want me to do that while people are cheating? Hell no. Bunk that. I like double rep rec used to be a big thing that just happened this past week. Guess what? I didn't even play at all because I went in there the first game and then they were lagging me and I was running, like they were speeding me up, slowing us down on the court. I just said, all right, man, I cut it off and just got on college football and played like Apex and some other games, right? It says, why monetization keeps expanding. NBA 2K has no unusual monetization strategy from a business perspective, which is true. Development costs are higher, licensing costs are higher, and yearly development cycles require reliable sources of revenue. Microtransactions offer stability in addition to the initial step. But my whole thing is this. Fuck the yearly release. Like, even Call of Duty has pulled back on their yearly releases. Why are we up? Why do we have to do yearly releases? The graphics don't change. You know what I'm saying? Why do we have to do a yearly release? It's money. But how about we just take a break and figure out how to stop the cheaters, bro? 2K27 comes out, everything's gonna be the same, but guess what? Cheating is not. We have found a way to stop cheating. We put all our time and efforts in stopping cheating. Something, I don't know. Additionally, the problem of monetization becomes trickier when it becomes compulsory rather than voluntary. Players tend to be inclined to buy cosmetics or convenience. However, frustration intensifies when it is clear that the progression is artificially slowed down to make them spend more, and that is huge. All right, community pushback and long-term risks. NBA 2K and its fans have become increasingly vocal about monetization. VC prices, grind intensely, and the cost of remaining competitive are consistently featured on social platforms and by content creators. That is so true. Although the franchise is still commercially successful, there is a risk of losing long-term loyalty due to sustained dissatisfaction. Now, that is true, but the only thing is that since there is only one basketball game out, and then they basically strong-armed EA to not even have EA do the college basketball, it's just difficult. It's just difficult right now. The future of NBA 2K depends on whether it can refocus on its priorities. Monetization is not going away, but it should go hand in hand with reasonable progression and real gameplay enhancements. When the balance shifts too much towards revenue extracting side, the question will never be whether NBA 2K is placing too much emphasis on monetization, but how long players will tolerate it. Right? So I thought this was a good article, and it was just, again, just bring us up to the forefront. Again, y'all know how I feel about this, man. I'm just really just want a great game. I felt like the game was, had a lot of potential. And then the cheaters came in and absolutely steamrolled this thing, man. Steamrolled it. So y'all let me know in the comment section what you think about this. But other than that, this is your favorite old head Uncle Jimmy. I'll be back really, really soon on the Banger Man. When I say back soon on the Banger, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm talking about tomorrow, man. I'm out.